Alright, well, we're going to make a 3D puzzle here today. Here's an example of one that's been finished up. It's pretty tight. This one's a little loose, but it still works. If all goes well, you should be able to find a way to take it apart and put it all back together. So here's one piece, here's the next, and the next. So those are the three parts we're going to make. We're going to follow these instructions right here. Measurements. We'll be using a square tool and a ruler on the square tool to get our lines drawn at 90 degrees. Make sure you've got a sharpened pencil as well. Here we go. Okay, we're going to draw, let's draw this one first in the middle. We want the big rectangular opening. Okay, your board that you've been given is 1.5 inches wide. Even though it doesn't say it here, you can assume that these ones are 1.5 inches wide, just like this one over here. Okay, I'm going to start by measuring the length of all three pieces, and then we'll draw the insides last here. So they're all 4 inches long. I'm going to start by measuring 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Okay, and this will be a leftover. This is going to be scrap that gets thrown away. So I'm going to use my square tool. I'm keeping this nice and tight every time I want to draw. And I got to make sure my pencil line goes right over that dot. Slide this down. Again, I'm squeezing this to the board, holding it down. So it takes 3 fingers to hold this in place. And you want to just barely see your pencil mark. And that pencil mark almost becomes unnoticeable if you draw it right over the top, like that. So that's what we have so far. So 1, 2, 3 pieces and a little leftover going in the garbage. Alright, so we're going to draw our rectangular opening here in the middle of this first one. It's 1.25 inches in on both ends. So if I were to start right here, I'd go 1 1/4. Put a mark somewhere along here. From this end, looks like I'm on the 4 measurement, so back to 3 is 1 inch, plus 2 more marks. That's what 1 1/4 inches looks like. So these should be the same distance from the end. I'm going to hook on. I'm just going to lightly draw a line across here. We know our rectangle's out in the middle, so I don't really need to draw the whole way. I'm going to draw it lightly as well in case I make a mistake and I want to fix it. We will go back and darken our lines up. Okay, so that's good enough for now. I just drew the ends, and now I need to draw these long edges. Okay, they're both 3/8 of an inch in from both sides. So somewhere along this edge, I'm going to find my 3/8 mark, put it on the edge of the board, put a mark in. Over here, put 0 on the end, and I'll measure 3/8 back. 1, 2, 3/8. Right there. It is helpful if you measure it twice, because we're going to be trying to draw a straight line. So measuring 2 dots would be helpful to you. And you can finish off that rectangle. Again, I'm lining up my dots like this. Okay, so that's what I have so far. There's our first piece. That is done. Okay, on to the next one. I'll do this one over here. Again, it doesn't matter what order you draw these. Pick whichever one you think is going to be easiest for you to start with. All right, these are both 1.25 inches in. We'll start with that. Then we'll go another, let's see, we'll go another 1 5/8 in for these openings right here. So that's this piece. So it should look very even all the way around with this gap here. All right, here we go. So 1 1/4 in. So 1 1/4. 1 1/4. So yes, I'm going a little fast here as I make this video. Feel free to pause me at any time and draw and keep up. My goal is to make as short of a video as possible for you. Okay, so I just did the 2 ends of the big opening. Now we got to do the opening on the side right here, the narrow opening. That's 3/4 of an inch wide, but it's 1 5/8 in on both ends. So I think I'll do that over here on this edge closest to you on the camera. So 1 5/8, so 1 inch, 1 1/2, 1 5/8. That's one more than 1 1/2. Right there. 1 5/8 is here, and I put a mark back here at 0. Okay, so that mark will go in 3/8 of an inch, like this. 1, 2, 3/8 is on the edge, straight in. And right on that mark, 3/8 goes straight in. Okay. I'm going to connect the ends here, right across those two lines. And I can erase out the middle. Like this, clean up some of my extra lines that went too far. Something like that. So it looks like we're on track here so far. And finally we have this last line, and that on the back side, that would be, it doesn't say it, but you can assume it's the same as the other side if it's not labeled, so 3/8 of an inch would be the one. So I'm going to measure this twice so I can connect the two dots. So again, if you want to draw a straight line, it takes 2 dots, not just one. Right there, if you want to be parallel to this edge, like this. And there we are. Feel free to clean up your lines. Those look like they're on track to me. Looks good. And our last one. Okay, our final piece has this notch in it. Okay, I saved this one for last because there's a few measurements that are trickier than others. Let's get the easiest ones done first. We're going to go 1 13/16 in, 1 13/16 in on both ends. Let's take care of that, and then we'll make our way around the notch right here. So 1 13/16. Now on a square tool that we have here, 1 13/16 is not actually marked on here. You're going to have to kind of figure it out yourself. If you can find 2 inches, go back to 1 7/8. It's halfway between 1 3/4 and 1 7/8. If there were a line right there, that's where it would be. That is 1 13/16. This particular ruler does not have 16ths showing on it, so you have to use your imagination a little bit and just figure it out. So 1 13/16. 1 right there. And the success of your puzzle depends on us getting this one very, very accurate, so don't take this one lightly. Okay, in other words, your pieces won't slide real well and you'll have some sanding and fixing to do. If we don't measure it well, feel free to get some help from your teacher if it is difficult. All right, so we're going to go in right here and in here. So that right there is 3/8 in. And this was 1 1/8 in. So 3/8 is the one closest to me. So again, I'm right on my pencil mark, 1, 2, 3. And this one is 1 1/8. So 1 1/8 right there. Okay, should look like that so far. Right about there. I guess it would be this way to you. Right there. So we'll turn and go around and meet. All right, let's go 9/16 towards me. And I'm going to add a 3/8 mark first here, and then go 9/16. So 9/16 is a 1/2 inch plus halfway to 5/8. Right there, between 1/2 and 5/8 is 9/16. Right there. And 15/16 is the other edge. So that is just short of 1 inch, if all goes well. Okay, and mine looks like it could be just a little better. Let me double check my measurements here. 9/16. Very close. And we'll close this off here. There, so there's my final result. And it looks like we are ready to cut. If you want to double check with my templates, you can. See if you're on track. I suspect this one, just by the looks of this, might be a little bit tight. We'll see how it turns out in reality. This one here. So you'll be putting your bandsaw blade right on the line when you get over there. Okay, let's move on to that.